Well. Shopping for a car?
Yep, Carvana made financing a car as smooth as can be.
Oh, yeah?
I got pre-qualified instantly and had real terms personalized just for me.
Doesn't get much smoother than that.
Well, I got to browse thousands of car options on Carvana, all within my budget.
Doesn't get much smoother than that.
It does. I actually wanted a car that seemed out of my range, but I was able to add a cosigner and found my dream car.
It doesn't get much...
Oh, it gets smoother. It's getting delivered tomorrow.
Visit Carvana.com or download the app to get pre-qualified today.
Hey everyone, welcome to 10 Squared. My name is Chris Donovan, and this week we are going to be reviewing the movie 1917. All right, the plot of the movie. 2 young British soldiers during the First World War are given an impossible mission. They're to deliver a message deep into enemy territory that stops 1,600 men and one of the soldiers' brothers from walking straight into a deadly trap. The beginning of the movie starts out with this really long camera shot where this guy comes over and nudges one of the soldiers and says, hey, come over here, we need to talk. So then they both get up and walk, and they're walking through, which is like bunkers or the channels that they built in the ground to hide from the machine gun shooting across. I can't remember the trenches. There we go. They were in the trenches, and it was one continuous camera shot from them walking all the way from where they were, which was by some trees, into the trenches, all the way up to near the close up front to where they thought the front line was. And they met with their commanding officer who gave them the orders to go find this other battalion and tell them. Now, the camera shot seemed like one continuous shot. Now, I didn't stare at the TV the whole damn time, and I blinked, but it was amazing. The middle of the movie, it was a lot like Saving Private Ryan. They were going across the country through war-stricken lands to try to find people that they had to ask everybody who they were. So, and of course, they got shot at, they got shot, they got stabbed, they got burnt, they got, everything. The movie, I'll get to the end here in a second, but man, it definitely had that war hard heavy feel. The end of the show, he does end up finding the battalion. He does, and it's Dr. Strange. Dr. Strange is the colonel or corporal or whoever he's trying to find to tell them to pull back on this attack because the Germans have set a trap for him. Now, it took him a lot of convincing and yelling and screaming to get over there and not dying, along with that, to get to this general to tell him to stop this. It took him a minute, but after he got the letter, he read it and he called off the attack and he saved him. And then I thought, I didn't know what else he was going to do. But then I remembered that his friend that he lost along the way, his brother was in this battalion. So he went and found his brother, who was Robb Stark from Game of Thrones. And he told him that his brother passed away, and he gave him his, I don't know if they call him dog tags then, but they gave him the tag from the military. Gave it to his brother and gave a letter and said that he was a really good man, which was something I forgot about in the movie when it was happening, that he was going to go tell his brother about him, that he passed already. So I guess I forgot about it because there was so much action in it. But after that is when I realized, what is he going to do next? Because he has to go back to his battalion way the other way, which is probably good because he's running away from the war. But he goes to a tree and sits down and realizes that he accomplished his mission. He saved a lot of people. Might not have been everyone, but he saved a lot of people. And that's one of the craziest semi-true stories I've ever heard. My favorite character in this movie would have to be Dean Charles Chapman. He was the main guy, Lance Corporal Blake. He was the one that did all the running and falling. And I saw some of the behind-the-scenes footage for this stuff, and it's not easy. This guy put in a hard day's work every day he went in there. So, this was an amazingly shot movie. Colin Firth was in it. Like I said, Dr. Strange was in it. It was just well done, and his character was portrayed beautifully. My favorite part of the show would have to be the camera, the shooting of the angles and the scenes and the length and all that stuff, because some of these camera shots were super long. Minutes long, and you don't know how they got around things. So it's interesting to see how they did it. Like I said, look at the behind the scenes footage. The shooting of this movie was probably the best part that made it feel so realistic. There were definitely parts in there when he was running in the very end across the field where everybody's trying to go to war and he's trying to run down the line and he ran into people, that I know that wasn't planned. It looked so real, and it had to be because they were driving a truck in front of him with bombs going off. It was crazy. Anyway, the camera angles and the shooting and the special effects, that made this movie what it is. All right, rating system on a scale from 1 to 10. I'm going to give this one about an 8.5. Now, I would give it a higher one, but I think that they missed some opportunities when it comes to dialogue. I think there were some opportunities where he could have been talking to himself a little bit more and kind of talked us through what was going on in his head. Now, that's just because I talk to myself a lot, but I think that would have helped a little bit, and I could have felt more in his shoes than just seeing him run around in the dark. But other than that, great movie. That's the only critique I have on it. All right, guys, that's the end of the show. Thank you all for listening. Make sure you go to thisisfunner.com to find out all my other podcasts and all the other projects we're working on. And find me on Twitter, Chris_Donovan. Catch you later.
Across the country, Amazon employees are turning hourly jobs into higher-paying careers.
I heard about this design apprenticeship program with Amazon, and now I'm a UX designer for Prime Video.
Learn more at aboutamazon.com.